Welcome to Learning English from People.
Snoop Dogg, the unlikely king of American culture. He is two people at once. One is a ghost from the past, a silhouette from the 1990s. He is a tall, thin gangster rapper from Long Beach, California. His voice is a slow, relaxed drawl, telling stories of danger and street life. He made the West Coast sound famous and scared a lot of parents. The other person is a friend you feel you know. He is a beloved TV star who cooks with Martha Stewart. He is a funny commentator at the Olympics. He is a coach for a kids' football team and a successful businessman who sells wine and breakfast cereal. He is a grandfather, an icon, a universally loved part of American culture. The question is simple. How can these two people be the same man? How did Calvin Broadus Jr., the world-famous Snoop Dogg, walk a path between danger and fame, between the streets and the living room, to become one of the most enduring figures of our time? His story is not just about music. It is about the paradox of America itself and the art of survival through constant change. Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr. was born on October 20, 1971, in Long Beach, California. From the very beginning, his life was split between two different worlds. His first world was the world of his mother, Beverly Tate. She was the anchor of his life. His father, a Vietnam veteran, left when Calvin was only 3 months old. His mother gave him the nickname that would define him. Because he was a skinny kid who loved the cartoon Peanuts, she called him Snoopy. This world was built around the church. At Golgotha Trinity Baptist Church, young Calvin sang in the choir and learned to play the piano. His mother loved old R&B music, and that sound became the foundation of his musical education. He was a good student and a hard worker. To earn money, he delivered newspapers, bagged groceries, and sold candy. This was a world of discipline, faith, and family. But just outside the church doors was a second world. In the 1980s, the streets of Long Beach were a place of intense pressure. Gang culture was growing, and its pull was strong. For a young man like Calvin, this world offered a different kind of education. He discovered another gift in the hallways of his school, rapping. When he performed for other students, huge crowds would gather. The noise was often so loud that the principal thought a fight was happening. The attention felt good. "It made me begin to realize that I had a gift," he later said. "I could tell that my raps interested people." As a teenager, these two worlds began to pull him in opposite directions. His mother tried to keep him on a straight path, but the streets were tempting. He became involved with a local gang, the Rollin' 20s Crips. The world of hustling was dangerous, but it was also exciting. The consequences came quickly. Soon after he graduated from high school in 1989, he was arrested for possession of cocaine. For the next 3 years, he was in and out of jail. It seemed like the second world, the world of the streets, was going to win. But even then, music was his escape. He started a rap group with his cousins, Nate Dogg and Lil Half Dead, and their friend, Warren G. They called themselves 213, the area code for Long Beach. They recorded homemade tapes, and one of those tapes changed everything. On it, Snoop was freestyling over a popular song. His flow was incredibly smooth and unique. Warren's stepbrother was the most important music producer on the West Coast, Dr. Dre. Warren gave him the tape. Dre was amazed by what he heard. The voice was calm, but had a hidden menace. The rhythm was completely original. In 1991, Dr. Dre called the young rapper for an audition. It was the moment that hip-hop history would be rewritten. Working with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg was born. He learned how to turn his natural talent for freestyling into structured songs with verses and choruses. The chemistry between the two men was immediate. His first official appearance was on the theme song for the 1992 film Deep Cover. The world was introduced to his persona, a cool, calm storyteller from the streets. But his big breakthrough came later that year on Dr. Dre's classic album, The Chronic. Snoop wasn't just a guest on the album, he was the co-star. His voice was everywhere, especially on the huge hit, Nothin' But a G-Thang. His laid-back delivery was the perfect partner to Dr. Dre's powerful G-Funk production, a sound full of deep bass, smooth keyboards, and samples from old funk music. Before he even released his own album, Snoop Dogg was already a star. In 1993, his debut album, Dogga-Style, was released on Death Row Records. It was a cultural explosion. It sold over 800,000 copies in its first week, a record at the time. Songs like Who Am I, What's My Name? And Gin and Juice became anthems for a generation. The music videos define the look of West Coast hip-hop, classic cars called lowriders, sunny house parties, and an easygoing style. This was the paradox in action. The lyrics were pure gangster rap, stories of violence, parties, and street life. But Snoop's delivery was so melodic and smooth that it didn't always sound threatening. It sounded like a story. He made the dangerous lifestyle sound impossibly cool. This made him a star, but it also made him a target in the national debate about violent lyrics in music. Just as his career was reaching its highest point, his two worlds collided in the most violent way possible. In August 1993, while he was recording his album, Snoop was driving a car. His bodyguard, who was in the passenger seat, shot and killed a member of a rival gang. Snoop and his bodyguard were both arrested and charged with murder. The trial was a massive news story. The gangster rapper whose songs described street violence was now on trial for it in real life. His freedom and his career were on the line. The famous lawyer Johnny Cochran, who later represented O.J. Simpson, defended him. The trial lasted for years, casting a dark shadow over his success. Finally, in February 1996, Snoop Dogg was found not guilty. The experience changed him forever. He was shaken. He announced that he was finished with the gangsta life. He was afraid it would lead him to prison or an early death. He moved his family to a quiet town, hoping to find peace. But the world he was in, the world of Death Row Records, was falling apart. Dr. Dre left the label after arguments with its co-founder, the intimidating Suge Knight. Then, in September 1996, Snoop's friend and label mate, Tupac Shakur, was murdered. Snoop was trapped. He released his second album, Thaw Dogfather, but without Dr. Dre, the magic was different. His relationship with Suge Knight became toxic. Snoop felt he wasn't being paid what he was owed. In a brave and dangerous move, he refused to make any more music for Death Row. In 1998, he finally broke free and started the next chapter of his life. To survive, Snoop Dogg knew he had to change. He had to become someone new. His next move shocked everyone. He signed with No Limit Records, a label from New Orleans run by the businessman Master P. A West Coast icon joining a Southern label was unheard of, but for Snoop, it was a perfect escape. He released 3 successful albums with No Limit. During this time, he traded his gangsta image for a new persona, the flamboyant, funny, and confident pimp. It was a character, a performance that allowed him to move beyond his dark past. As the 2000s began, Snoop's evolution continued. He proved he could succeed without Dr. Dre and Death Row. In 2004, he started working with the producer duo The Neptunes, including Pharrell Williams. This partnership gave him a fresh sound and led to one of the biggest hits of his career. The song was Drop It Like It's Hot. It was a simple, catchy track that went to #1 on the Billboard charts. It was his first ever #1 hit. Snoop Dogg was no longer just a rapper. He was now a global pop star. Over the next few years, he showed that he could fit in anywhere. He collaborated with pop singer Katy Perry on the massive summer hit, California Girls. He worked with the animated band Gorillaz. He was constantly experimenting, refusing to be put in a box. Then, in 2012, he announced his most surprising change yet. After a trip to Jamaica, he said he had converted to the Rastafari movement. He changed his name to Snoop Lion and released a reggae album. Some people were confused, and some even criticized him. But Snoop insisted the change was real. He said he was looking for more peace and positivity in his life. The Snoop Lion phase didn't last long, but it proved he was fearless. He followed it with a funk album. Then, in 2018, he surprised the world again by releasing Bible of Love, a double album of gospel music. It was a return to the church music of his childhood, the first world he had ever known. He was now a born-again Christian. He had come full circle. Each change, each new name, and each new style of music was a deliberate act of reinvention. It was his way of managing the paradox of his life. He was showing the world, and maybe himself, that he could be more than just one thing. By the late 2010s, Snoop Dogg had become something more than a musician. He was now an institution, a beloved elder statesman of American culture. And he finally seemed to resolve the conflict between his two worlds by simply embracing both. The perfect symbol of this is his friendship with Martha Stewart, the queen of cooking and home decorating. In 2016, they launched a TV show together called Martha and Snoop's Potluck Dinner Party. The chemistry between the street-hardened rapper and the polite homemaker was genuine and hilarious. The show was a huge success. It showed that Snoop could be friends with anyone. He could bridge any gap. He also became a powerful businessman. He was one of the first celebrities to enter the legal cannabis industry, turning his famous lifestyle into a legitimate business. He launched his own wine brand. He wrote a cookbook. He became an owner in the world of esports. He proved that the hustle he learned on the streets could be used to build an empire. And he never forgot where he came from. In 2005, he started the Snoop Youth Football League for at-risk kids in the Los Angeles area. He didn't just donate money, he coached the teams himself. He wanted to give kids the guidance and support that he struggled to find when he was young. The gang member from the past was now protecting a new generation from that same life. Then came the ultimate victory. In February 2022, news broke that Snoop Dogg had bought Death Row Records. The label he had to fight to escape from now belonged to him. The young artist who helped build the empire now owned it. It was a stunning moment of power and perseverance. Days later, he performed at the Super Bowl halftime show with Dr. Dre and other legends. It was a celebration of his journey, a crowning moment for the king of the West Coast. Snoop Dogg's life has not been without controversy. The murder trial is the most serious chapter of his past. He has faced other legal issues and serious allegations over the years. These are not small details. They are part of his complex story. They show the constant tension between his lifestyle and the law, and the challenges faced by an artist who has always insisted on being himself. Today, Snoop Dogg is a study in contradictions, and that is the key to his success. He is the Crip who coaches kids' football. He is the cannabis icon who recorded a #1 gospel album. He is the gangster rapper who is best friends with Martha Stewart. He did not choose one world over the other. Instead, he learned how to live in both. He survived the dangers of his past and transformed them into a platform for his future. His unique voice changed the sound of music, but his greatest influence may be cultural. He showed that a person can evolve, can contain multitudes, can be both hard and soft, sacred and profane. In a country full of its own contradictions, Snoop Dogg found a way to represent them all. He is the dog father, the unlikely king, still cool, still changing, and still on top.